Hello and welcome to Group 5 Structural Steel final presentation. We will first start our presentation by going over each team member's final design. For design 1A, we decided to use rectangular HSS steel for the lateral force members. The rectangular members were chosen in hopes that they could be orientated to either make the wall thinner or increase strength and a weak axis buckling point.
Final design for option 1A comes to be HSS 9x5 by 1/2. The reason why they're all the same is these all hit the criteria for the most load-dependent floor, which was level 2. And from here, it seemed to make sense to go to the HSS 9x5 by 1/2 because it would be most cost-efficient, knowing that the chevron design would be more expensive than any other of the single brace frames. Reason being so is because it has a chevron design, it automatically has 3 gusset plates, but in reality it would be up to 4 because the middle one would require the sizing of equivalent of 2 gusset plates, which would increase the price by that much more. So it just made sense to me to have a HSS 9x5.
This is the final design for option 1B of the east-west braced frame design using a single diagonal with square hollow structural steel, or HSS. Overall, I think the square HSS members were a great design option because you would not need to worry about the orientation of the members like rectangular HSS members.
For design option 1B, I did a north-south braced frame and came up with the final designs as shown in the picture in the slide. The reason I chose these was because they were the braces with the most cost-efficient and could hold the loads present for the frame. There was a little bit of lateral drift, but not enough to exceed the limits. These members are a chevron with circular HSS. An observation I had was that as we go up the building, the members start to get smaller in diameter due to less loading being applied to the top of the building as there is more at the bottom.
For design option 2, we have a chevron with square HSS in the east-west direction. As you can see from the figure on the right, there are lighter brace frames at the upper stories that transition to heavier ones with each consecutive story going down. This is to account for more axial forces in the lower braced frames.
For the final design for design option 2, I did the north-south brace frame using the chevron with square HSS. I chose these types of brace frame because they were most cost-effective while could hold all the necessary load. Also, the lateral drift did not exceed the limit.
The final design option that we recommend the most is option 2, being chevrons with square HSS in both the north, south, and east-west directions. Single concentric gusset plates have been used in the design because we thought it would be easiest to work with. 3 gusset plates will be used for each story. 1 large gusset plate will connect the 2 diagonals of the chevron to the upper girder, and 2 will be used at the opposite ends. This is the design that we have gone with because it was the cheapest after calculation of each design option, and the structure still manages to support itself along with the seismic loads and gravity loads. Some of the observations we found were that it was the only option under $19,000, and although the brace length for chevrons in the east-west directions were the longest, it was still cheaper.
For the team exploration section of our project, the team decided to look for lateral drift limits. Each member used their design talked about previously and inputted that information into SAP 2000. From there, the lateral drift limits could be calculated in SAP 2000. Our chosen design, design 2, looked a little funny in SAP 2000 when we looked at the deformed shape. As you can see in the top left section of the screen, the top 2 floors deflected much more than the bottom 2. This was a little concerning, but it was still within our limits, so we thought it was okay.
So for diversity of the team, We noticed that all members of the team are Type A learners. I think everyone in DAEMYK Engineers enjoy getting to know all the variables and figuring out what we actually want to find and solve for. So when it came to how we want to perform our calculations, we were split. Half of the group preferred to do paper calculations the old style way, and then other half, majorly Dyrin, preferred doing it on the iPad/tablet, which actually turned out to be very helpful for us due to all of our work being very neatly written and done by Dyrin due to him doing it electronically. I will say all of us had different ideas. We all had different goals for design options, which would lead to all different choices, but we all had the same idea. We wanted to be the most cost-effective design and have the most factor of safety possible with the most cost-effective choice. And this what led us to design option 2.
Our team collaborated really well. We had a good rotation of who was going to be the task leader, and everyone was enthusiastic about getting tasks done and wasted little to no time. We would meet on Fridays after class and distribute the work that needs to be done, and meet again on Tuesdays to finalize our submissions. We would meet in person typically, but sometimes we had to use Zoom because of some personal issues or lack of transportation to meet in person or any other real-life issues that come up. Everyone had different obligations and class schedules, so we had to work as a team to find a time that fits well for all 6 of us to meet and finish the task submissions and make sure we did as well as we could on this project.
And now I'm going to talk about the evaluation of the team's work plan. Overall, our team worked together extremely well on this project. Also, planning tasks, setting and meeting deadlines were very effective, and we managed it very well. We set up the meeting time in advance and met all the deadlines. In terms of peer review process and incorporating the feedback to improve project, our team managed it well and they were very effective. As a group, first we looked at the feedback and identified the issues and then used them to fix their issues and then help improve their project.
In what area did your team improve the most over the course of the project? As a group, we improved the most on implementing tasks and who would complete each of them. What, if anything, would you do differently for team projects in the future? For future projects, we discussed that we would like to begin working on the task sooner than the day before or the day that the project is due. We all agreed that working on a project close to the deadline induced unnecessary stress that could have been avoided. What could be done differently with the organization of the course project itself to improve the experience of working in a team? We all liked the flexibility of being able to select our group members. We also liked that the deadlines for the portions of the project were scattered throughout the term rather than one deadline for the entire project. However, some portions of the project took longer or shorter to complete. We thought that it would be a good idea to provide a rough estimate of the time that it would take to complete each of the project tasks.